Hello everyone, Chet Womach here once again from thedogtrainingsecret.com, and I have a new technique that I have never talked about. In fact, I don't know if I discovered it or if I just realized it yesterday. Maybe there's somebody else out there who's discovered this before me, but or used it in this way before me, but I've never heard about it, so I was kind of excited with it and wanted to share it with you because it is a way that I think if you know about this, that you can get your dog to be much more obedient in specific situations, and I want to share this with you. So the method that I'm calling, that it's called, is a default behavior. So there's this phenomenon that I've known about and lots of trainers have known about. I've just never intentionally used it correctly before. That, in fact, it's normally a problem with dealing with animals, and I try to work around how to fix it, and I don't ever use it for what I think it could be used for. And so this is called a default behavior. I first noticed this in my bird training background, where we would teach birds to do things. So we would always teach the birds to wave. They'd pick up their little foot and they'd wave, and then we'd teach them some other things. And what we realized is that we would notice that when we were, I don't know, 10 or 20 tricks down the line, we trained birds to work for Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey. My brother has, anyways, in our other businesses, and we created trick training products for birds. And I know this isn't a bird video, that's okay, but the point is still the same. We're training these things, and when we started training a new behavior that the bird hadn't learned yet, we would notice that when the bird was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, it would default to the wave, picking up its foot and waving. And we always, had to use strategies to avoid this so that the animal wouldn't do that during a show or doing a performance and those sorts of things. And so it was kind of a problem. However, I realized the other day that I had accidentally trained my new golden retriever, Ginger, who's now 15 weeks old, the first behavior, which was leave it. And I really lucked out here, and I wanted to just share this suggestion with you because I think that leave it is the holy grail behavior of dog training. It's the most beneficial. You can get your dog to back off of other people, stop chewing kids, leave the food that you accidentally dropped on the floor alone, you drop something you don't want broken alone, a kid's toy alone. It's hands down the command I use more than ever. The other one that I use that is really awesome is the go to your bed, because go to your bed is kind of like leave it, where they have to go to their bed, so they're automatically leaving something. And so with my last dog that I have, I taught go to your bed as its first command. And with this dog, Ginger, I taught leave it as the first command. And so what I notice when I think back about the training, what I notice when I'm teaching the dogs to do things first is they always would revert back to the first behavior I taught them. If my old dog Bauer, if there was a bed anywhere near where he was and I asked him to do something, he would, without even thinking, want to go to the bed first, because especially if we're working on a new behavior or there's a more distracting environment and those sorts of things, because that's what I trained him to do. So my dog Ginger is doing the same thing. It's not the bed, because I didn't train bed first. I trained leave it first. And oh my gosh, every time I say something, she backs off immediately and leaves it, even if I'm working on a new behavior. So I thought, you know what? This really, for one, backs up the reason why you would either want to teach go to your bed or leave it. Two behaviors that I've just accidentally trained first. It wasn't, a grand plan that I should train those first. I just picked them randomly. I didn't work on sit. I didn't do down. I didn't do come. I worked on go to bed, and I worked on leave it first. And I've realized that those two behaviors have made my life so much easier, because they are the behaviors my dog will go to by default. So when an environment's very distracting, the message gets through clearer because it was the first behavior they learned. So my tip to you, if you haven't trained your dog yet, or you have a dog you're about to get, or, I'll give the third example here in a sec. Pick one of those two behaviors as the first two behaviors that you give. If you don't know how to teach go to your bed, I do have a free video that's available at thedogtrainingsecret.com. When you sign up for our newsletter, I have a free video that shows you how I taught my old dog Bauer to go to his bed in 20 minutes. I started to do that with my dog Ginger. She didn't learn it in 20 minutes, by the way. It took her a couple of days to learn that behavior. But maybe that's because I have 3 kids running around in my house. It's a little more distracting. But I did teach leave it in a very short amount of time. And Both are fantastic, and both are behaviors that I highly recommend that you teach your dog. And then the third example that I wanted to share with you is that if you've already trained your dog its first behavior, think about how you could use that behavior in a way, realizing your dog's going to default to it to be a better asset, asset in your training toolkit, so to speak, when you are going about trying to train your dog to do things. What is the first behavior you train them, and how can you use that and realize that its powers of being the first behavior are at play in your dog's life? How can you put them to use? Get creative with this, and again, if you can, teach bed and leave it first. Boy, what a difference it makes. I'd never put the two together before. I realized that dogs do that. I just never thought how to use it constructively. And so I had that thought today, and I just want to share it with you. I hope that can make your life much easier with your dog. I look forward to talking to you again.